Hey guys, today we are in Raleigh for the final round of the Speedflow Drift Series. It's been a long time since I've tried to do a vlog, and since I'm not at Wakefield Park for once, I figured may as well give it a go. I've just been out for my first session and it's pretty fun. The skill level here is pretty high. I've entered the pro class as well, so I'm up against some fairly insane cars. You can probably hear all the 1Js and V8s around me. It's 33 degrees I think, and already me and the car are getting pretty hot. It's been about 2 years since I was last at Raleigh, and back then the car didn't have Knuckles or the RB25 Turbo or the Power FC, so it's definitely a lot easier to drive now. I'm just going to go out for my second practice session. Probably going to focus mainly on chasing, because that's what I suck at the most. So as long as I can get to know some of these guys and chase well, then I should have a decent chance in the competition. Session number 2 down. I came in because I could feel the tyres were beginning to give up, which is a little bit annoying. I'm running Bravados / Minervas this weekend, so I'll give you a look at them. These are the Minervas, these are the Bravados. As you can see, they're nigh on identical. Unfortunately, they're just chunking off a lot. At this rate, I'm going to run out of tyres, which doesn't usually happen, but yeah, probably going to have to stop driving for a little while. As you can see, that tyre is pretty much fucked. I'd probably, at this point, just finish it off. Yeah, it's a bit annoying. I don't think anyone here is going to be selling tyres, so might miss out on some driving at the end, but oh well. Quite a lot of people are surprised that I drive this car like so far. So this is 800 Ks from my house, and that's one of the closer events I do, considering I go to Queensland, Tasmania and South Australia. So I'll just show you, in case you're interested, what I bring as spare parts. Okay, so as you can see, I've got 6 wheels. That's all I can fit in the car realistically. I've got basic tools. I've got a socket set, screwdrivers, spanners, got my ramps, pair of jack stands, power steering fluid. I've got an air compressor, which you definitely need when you're competing. You've got to be able to change your tyre pressures depending on the conditions. In the way of spares, I have got a pair of rear knuckles, because they're quite prone to cracking. You don't even have to hit anything for them to crack. And I've never broken one, so I feel I'm well overdue. I've got a spare stock caster rod because the factory, sorry, not the factory, the D-Max ones break quite easily, especially if you crash into someone. So this is mainly just to get me home if I crash. Apart from that, that's really all I've got. I've got some more tools in here like drills, drill bits, cable ties, spanners, rattle guns, ball joint poppers. So I've got all the tools to basically take the car apart, just not many of the parts to actually fix it. Since I drive a fairly common car, I usually presume that I'll be able to get spares at the track if I need them. I have LCAs as well. So if I break something like a drive shaft, which is probably unlikely with a almost stock RB20 and a fucked clutch, then I'm pretty sure I can get one here. Same for diffs. Realistically, that's all I should break. I don't think I'm ever going to break a gearbox because, yeah, I'm not pushing much power and the clutch I'm using is an extremely worn out, extreme heavy duty clutch. The engine might blow up, but if it does, then so be it. I guess that'll be an expensive tow home. It just goes to show, I guess, if you keep your setup fairly simple, then you'll be able to drive a really long way. Because, as I said, I've done probably 10 events that are more than like 800 Ks from my house. Probably like 20 events. And I've always been able to drive back in this car. I've never had any breakages, so stock is good. So I've just knocked the pressures down to 40 psi hot. No idea what that is cold. So I'll go out for one last session before the qualifying session begins. See how long these tires last. Third run, so next up will be qualifying. First is Pro-Am qualifying though, so I'll go film some shots of them from the outside. A little bit worried that my car's leaking coolant because there was a lot that was under where my car was parked. It's not overheating, I can't see it, so maybe I just parked on someone else's leaky coolant. I'll leave it for a little while and then when I get back hopefully I'll be able to tell.
steady, steady guys.
It's not too long now until the pro qualifying starts. So here they run a similar system to DCA, which is you go out for a 2-hour session, you can do as many practice laps in that time as you want, and then you elect when you want to do a qualifying lap and do your 2 qualifiers. So I've put new tyres on, gonna run 38 PSI in them, cold. I was running 40 before, so pretty much the same. And I'm just going to do 1 practice lap and then do the 2 comp laps. That's because that's the sort of Japanese standard, and in G1 this year I failed pretty badly with my qualifying runs, so I'm not going to spoil myself by doing a million practice ones. I'm just going to go out, get them done. Don't know if you can hear that, but there's a whistling noise down there, which is a direct result of me bragging about how unbreakable my car is. So one of my heater hoses has got a pinhole leak in it, which when the car gets to 100 degrees lets a lot of coolant out. So I did manage to do my 2 qualifiers after putting about 3 litres of water back into it. So I'm going to try and see if I can get a replacement one. Otherwise I'm going to have to go buy like a 20-litre jug and just keep filling it up with water, I think. So this is why you don't brag about how unbreakable your car is. So this happens. Speaking of my qualifying runs, they both felt okay. No massive mistakes in either one, so wherever I qualify would have been a fair result based on all the other driving I've done today. So that's good. Okay, so it's day 2. I did some driving last night. My car didn't seem to overheat too badly, but it's already overheated twice just driving from my hotel to the track. It was probably slowly leaking overnight, and silly me, I didn't check and put any extra water into it. So I'm hoping that if it's full of water when I start driving, it'll keep below 80. But yeah, definitely questioning if I should drift it anymore today, because if it gets worse, it's going to be a long tow ride home. Okay, I've just got my qualifying result. I ended up qualifying 5th, which I'm pretty happy about. That means I've got to buy in the top 32, because I think there's only 24 drivers in Pro. And then my next battle will be against either the K-Max sponsored S14, or I haven't figured out who the other car is. The top 32 just finished. I think there was a bit of an upset in the battle between the people I was going to verse, so I think I'll be up against a green Commodore Ute. It should be interesting to follow, because yeah, the rear of those things is massive, so I've got to be careful not to hit him on transitions, but as long as I'm consistent and the car survives, should have a fairly good chance. I'll see how I go. So, as you would have seen, I had a bit of a coming together with the green Commodore. Unfortunately, it bent my tie rod, and it looks like it bent the LCA as well, so I was able to throw a new tie rod in it. And even though the alignment looks okay, it doesn't drive okay, so I think the tie rod, the LCA's lost rigidity and it's flexing. So unfortunately, that's the end for me. So now it'll be repair so I can limp back home mode. So there's the old tie rod. You can see is slightly bent. And if you look at the LCA, you can see that it's been curved this way. It's rubbing here, which it's never rubbed there before. And it's bent around this hole. So I guess that's why the whole thing's flexing, because, yeah, it feels fucked. Anyway, shit happens. Just like that, we are all packed up. So body wise, damage isn't too bad. So the car's all packed up now. I've got quite a list of things to fix up before Wakefield in 2 weeks, so be interesting to see what happens there. Cosmetically there wasn't too much damage. Front bumper's a bit scratched up, guard's a bit pushed in, and the indicator's a bit broken. I think I actually have a spare indicator at home, so that's not the end of the world. So I'm staying here tonight and then I'll be driving home tomorrow. So if anything interesting happens then, I'll put it up, noting that I've still got my coolant leak. Otherwise, this is probably the end of the video. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe and all that bullshit, and yeah, thanks for watching.